Welcome back to KevinMtv. If you enjoyed my last Prius transformation video, well, we have got a doozy in store for you this time, so make sure to watch all the way to the end, like, subscribe, and buckle up because we are about to transform this Prius in 3, 2, 1. And there she is. She's like a brand new car, all shiny and red, beautiful. She's got the sensors. Isn't she beautiful? Like a brand new car. Oh wait, she is. Here we are. Here is a direct comparison between the two cars. We got a silver Prius V in the back, 2014, and in the front here, the brand new car. And by brand new, I mean used. We have a 2022 Toyota Prius Prime, and it is imported from New York. I am the second owner of this, and if you would take a look at here, okay, first off, we got these 4 quad LED headlights, okay? We got these fog lights down here. We got sensors. Check out this grille by the Toyota logo. That grille, it's cool. It's cool. It's a lot cooler in person than it looks on the video. All right, now would it be my car if it did not have a little scrapage at the bottom left passenger side? No, it would not. And this car came to me like this. I am not responsible for this one. Ooh, I see a leaf in that grill. Gotta get that out. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to get in there. My goodness. Okay, well, I can't get in there, so those leaves get to live for now in my grill. That's great. Okay. So, yeah, not only did this car come with these scrapes down here, but it also came with a pretty good scrape over here on the back. Right here. Thank you to the first owner for those. I ordered this car, like I said, online. I got it imported from New York. So I was not aware of these scratches before it got to me, but you know, c'est la vie, it's still a beautiful car, so what you gonna do? Yes, this thing is a Prius Prime, and it is a limited, so you can call it top of the line Toyota Prius, baby. Take a look at this Prius Prime from the back. Look at this windshield and this tail. Look how it curves. That is crazy. Do you see that? It curves. The glass on the back, it curves. As you know, every Prius is a hatchback, so let's go ahead and open this hatch. Very, very tall. It's got a little raised floor here. That's for the huge electric battery. It's really not that much trunk space lost like everybody on the internet makes it seem. And another thing about this hatch is this is actually carbon fiber back here. Yep. So the curved glass on the back, that is to improve the gas mileage and the wind resistance, and the carbon fiber trunk here, one of a kind in any Toyota, and that is also to help decrease the weight that has been added on from the ginormous battery. I'll take it, because the carbon fiber trunk, that's cool, baby. This might actually be a cool Prius. I got the windows tinted myself. They were not pre-tinted, as they did come from New York, so it's not very, I guess, hot like it is here in the desert, where they do tint all the windows by factory. I got Air 80 tint on the front here, which is supposed to be clear, and then I got like a 35 transparency on the back. All of the tinting I did mostly for the heat resistance, not really the darkness, because I am concerned about that hybrid battery, okay? It is important to keep it cool. Even in a Prius like this one, it's important to keep your hybrid battery cool, okay, with the AC. But in this one, with the huge battery in the back, you bet it is going to be all that much more important to keep that thing cool. Not only with the AC airflow, but also, of course, with the window tint. That is something I can do. That is something I did. So why not give this car every shot it has to do its best? While I did not tint the windows on the old one, you can see the old one is much, much darker, but that's all right, because again, I wasn't really after the darkness. Oh, you can straight up see my reflection. I was not after the darkness. I was after the heat resistance. Let's see if we can see my reflection. We can. By the way, I think red cars might get hotter than other cars, because this car, when I first got it, was extremely hot, and I tinted the windows, and guess what? It still gets really hot, even though it's blocking out up to like 88% of the UV rays coming in. It still gets hot. So I think maybe there's a theory to red cars being really hot. Maybe that's why they call them hot rods. The seats on this thing feel really nice, by the way. It feels more like a Lexus than a Toyota. The only funky thing with this car is that the trunk is a little raised for that battery back there. We do have these 4.5 inches, I did measure it, drop down from the trunk to the back seat. So that is the only clunky part of this Prius. And usually Priuses are clunky, okay? So as a Prius owner going to another Prius, I was prepared for some clunkiness. And this is I feel like this is a much smaller step for me than it is for other people coming from non-Prius to this. All right, so this is what we're looking at storage-wise. It is not too shabby at all. Definitely open hatch. We got all this floor up to about, I don't know, a foot of height right here, but it gets taller as we get closer to the center. That's again where it comes in handy, putting the seats down. The Prius V obviously wins on storage. That car was built for storage, but you know what? This car doesn't have that bad of storage either. You just have to commit to a life of Tetrising things in here. Here it is from the back seat. The trunk itself fills up pretty fast, and there's not much room for tall stuff. It's also important to keep the hybrid battery fan cool. This car has 3 vents. The last one had 1 or 2. This one has 3. 1 on each side like this, and then 1 in the floor. I'll show you in a sec. There's that floor battery fan filter right there. There is no fans in the back. I wish there were vents back here, but there are plugs for my back passengers, which is nice. And while I'm talking about this 2022 Prius Prime being better than any other Prius Prime, that being 23 or later, as well as older than 2020, this one has a 5th seat back here for someone to sit, as well as an armrest. In the 2017 to 2020 version, maybe 2019, they only had a 4-seater. Yeah, that was up to 2019. 2020 they changed it, so they made it a 5-seater once again, and I would have hated that if I didn't know that and I bought that. My god. Honestly, this car has been a huge upgrade from the Prius V. Although it's a massive downgrade in storage in the back, it is also a massive upgrade in MPG. The Prius V got 40 MPG. This guy gets 53.5 at the moment. Plus, it's got electric range. The Prius V was not made to ride on electric, but this guy can ride up to 25 miles on all purely electric, and that is amazing. So I love this car. Plus, it feels great to drive. It feels just fast, sturdy. The handling's great. I love it. The engine feels like it's a much stronger engine, even though I know it's really not. But it's probably that bigger battery giving it a push that makes it feel like it's got more power. The Prius V had a really loud rattling noise. I think it was the electric motor, and it was really embarrassing to drive around in. The straw that broke the camel's back, I was waiting in line for In-N-Out in the drive-thru, and she was rattling up a storm. Really, really loud, really, really bad rattle for a really long time. It was trying to charge up the battery just sitting there. It's hard for that machine to do, and so everybody was looking around. They had their windows down. They could all hear it really loud. They're like, is that my car? They were so pissed. If that was their car, they were looking around. They're like, whose car is that? They're like, even the sound of that thing is appalling. Like, get that thing out of here. And I just recently went back to that same In-N-Out, and no rattles from here, just a quiet nice Prius that everybody was envious of, so that was a full circle, very satisfying moment. So since this car came with New York gas, and I'm not exactly sure how long it had been sitting in there, I have been trying to drain this gas tank for as long as possible. You see the light is on, and I actually still have 2 miles of gas range in there that I'm trying to drain out of this car. But of course, it is a fuel sipper, so it takes forever to use any gas, which is not a complaint. I love it. That's one of the main reasons for this car. This one's got blind spot monitor like my other one didn't have, as well as all of the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 features. This thing has Toyota Safety Sense 2.0, which has lane tracing assist, pre-collision pedestrian detection, and a whole lot more, including blind spot monitor, which is something I wanted to get added onto the Prius V, but they couldn't do it for me. So I absolutely had to get a new car because I really wanted all these things, and frankly, it just can't be added onto another car. So if you want these things on your car like Toyota Safety Sense, you need to get a newer car, unfortunately. But if you want to spoil yourself, that's where you go ahead and get things like automatic parking, heads-up display, heated seats, a heated steering wheel for crying out loud. Take a look at this infotainment system. A lot of people hate on it because of the glare, but in my experience so far, it is not bad at all. The glare does not bother me one bit. But one thing that does happen is I do get some bad fingerprints on this, which does lead me to use this guy just to wipe, and no more fingerprints. People also hate that you have to touch these buttons, you have to look away from the screen to touch the buttons, but there's only so many buttons. You figure out where they are, and you don't really have to look away from the road for that long before pressing the button. Once it's your car, you know where all the buttons are. And I like the 2022 Prius Prime and / Prius over the 2023 and above because, well, one of the reasons is the steering wheel. The steering wheel on this bad boy is simple, elegant, efficient, but the steering wheel on the other one is crazy. Way too many buttons, way too spaceshipy. This one is a bit like a normal car, and that's what I like about it. Though it does feel like a spaceship, which you will see when I turn this car on. And this one doesn't have a camera staring at me everywhere I go like the other Priuses do. Here I am in the driver's seat now, so let's go ahead and turn this thing on so you can go ahead and hear that chime. All right, that thing plays every single time I turn on the car, and every single time I turn the car off, here's this sound. Charge immediately. This thing thinks it's gonna die every time it doesn't charge. And take a look at this. I got this car with only 22,000 miles. That is crazy. So this is basically a brand new car for me. As you saw in the back though, this car is a limited trim, which does mean it is fully loaded with things like a heads-up display that you will not see in most other trims. Or maybe in any other trim, I don't know. In addition to the heads-up display, we have automatic parking. Yeah, that's right. This thing can park itself. Allegedly. I haven't been able to get it to work in a parking spot. I have been able to get it to work for parallel parking, which honestly is the more important one anyway, so it's like not a huge deal, but I would like if it could get itself parked into actual parking spots. But even if so, it's not a huge deal because when I did my last Prius transformation, I asked the guy who put in the speakers and the lights, I asked him if he could do the grid lines for me, but that was out of his capabilities, so it's not something that could have been done. And there's definitely no way he would have been able to get it to park itself. This thing is pretty easy to back into any spot with that backup camera and, of course, those grid lines, which, of course, the Prius V did not have those grid lines. In the 2023 and newer, they also have ventilated seats, but I heard that those, as well as the heated seats in those, don't work that well. These work fine, and I'm happy with it. By the way, I know I tried to upgrade the speakers on my last car, but this car has JBL audio, a 10-speaker system with an amplifier, and let me just tell you, this has been life-changing for me. It is way, way better than even the aftermarket speakers I put in my Prius V. This speaker system has blown me away. I do not know if I will ever be able to go away from JBL audio ever again, because this experience, this audio experience, has been incredible. This car has JBL audio, that's a 10-speaker system with an amplifier, and my music has never sounded better. In a car, in headphones, never ever has my music sounded so good, and I'll never be able to go back. This thing has such a nice dash. One thing we are losing out on from the Prius V is the double glove compartments. We only have one glove compartment in this one, and it is a lot smaller, as well as this is a lot smaller too. We lose at least a few inches in this, but it is okay. It is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Speaking of this thing being Tesla-like, not only can it park itself, but it has dynamic radar cruise control, which means it will go up to speed, stay at that speed, and it will actually slow down according to the car in front of me to keep a certain space, which I have preset. So that plus lane tracing assist, I can drive this thing with no feet on the pedals, no hands on the wheel, just like a Tesla, but we've got that Toyota reliability on our side. Only thing is, it yells at me when I leave my hands off the wheel for too long. But I think Teslas do that too. I wanted a red car with better gas mileage and newer with all this fancy tech, and that is not something that could have just been added onto my old one. I wanted fancy features like blind spot monitor, I wanted heated seats, so I had to just go for it. So if you want certain features in a car, I suggest you just go for it. Get the car you want, even if it's a little old, so it can be a little cheaper, more affordable. Get the car you want, the car that makes you happy. That's what I did. Well, that about does it for my Prius transformation video. Now I'm driving in luxury with better safety and better MPG, and I could not be happier. So if you enjoyed the ride, join me on the road trip to 1,000 subscribers. I won't make you change the wheels. Remember to like that like button, subscribe that subscribe button, check out some of my other videos, and I will catch you in the next one.